What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Episode 90 in the mix, big baby. Before we get started, I got a special host, special guest, Lights. But you know what time it is. If you got yourself an iPhone and or an Android, do yourself a favor, stay up to date with the latest cryptocurrencies and NFTs. I am your host, Gaddis TV. What's going on, y'all? And let's get to it. Alrighty, and Lights, we are live and direct. So first off, I want to say thank you for coming on, taking some time out of your overall kind of evening, and just showing some love. So thank you for coming on, big dog.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
100%. Usually how we do kind of the start it off for people that don't know, because I know some thugs, of course, will know. Some people, I'm sure, in the Twitter space will know as well. But for the people that don't, quick background on yourself in the crypto area. Kind of how were you introduced into crypto? Was it good old Solana, BTC back in the day? I guess how was your crypto journey? How'd you find it?
Yeah, I've only been in the crypto space for about a year, a little over a year. I'd say last March. I was just kind of interested in it, kind of dabbling in it. Of course, Dogecoin was starting to take off, you know, to the normie crew.
The moon.
Yeah, all that. So back in early 21. And then I really kind of honed in on Solana. Because honestly, I live about 15 minutes from the real place. So I was already kind of a hometown fan, like, oh man, there's a cryptocurrency that's right down the street. Okay, cool. Let me find out about this one. And then obviously I bought some ETH and bought some Solana, and just found early on that Solana just felt more usable to me. With gas fees and everything else, even though I have a tremendous respect for Ethereum, Solana just felt, I don't know, the just felt funner and more usable, and just started seeing the community form around it. So it felt like the right place for me to kind of dive in, so to speak. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Felt like home, so to say.
It really did, man.
No, like that's
Yeah.
What is that type of feeling? Because ironically, the place I just moved from, literally 5 minutes away, has a street called Solana Road as well, which I thought it was hilarious. I guess how as a California resident, you know, how is that just like do you think that made you want to go towards it more just because it was one of those California things, or I guess why?
Yeah.
As dumb as it sounds, you think it's like a real connection that way?
Yeah, it was almost like the hometown team, you know. It's like I got to root for these guys. So it's yeah, and it's the real Solana Beach is it's a cool little surf town north of San Diego. Really cool vibes, very it's just, you know, as you can see in the picture here, it's just cool palm trees and great surf break, and it's kind of the place that inspired the name. I'm told that Tolly and those guys would surf out here back in the day, and I think that's where the name obviously came from, and just the good vibes and the good times that were had there in real life have now crossed over into the metaverse, into the blockchain. And so yeah, that was kind of the foundation for my photography, so as well.
With this particular photo, for the people that are, I guess, watching, not exactly listening, I guess you can only tell it's palm trees, but is this actually from Solana Beach itself, or is this like a different spot somewhere with just palm trees, or do you know if this actual picture is from the actual Solana Beach?
That's the actual Solana Beach. That's it.
There you go.
So
That's what I'm talking about.
I got a collection of 21 pieces from the real life Solana Beach. It's called Lights of Solana Beach. It's on Exchange Art, and yeah, those are all shots from that little spot right there. And the sign you're looking at, it's not just me playing with the font. That's a real sign on top of this little building, and there's the palm trees behind it and off into the ocean beyond that. So
No kidding.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
man.
pretty
It's a
sick. I
real
didn't know
place.
any of this. Well, I mean, I knew the real place
Yeah.
part, but I know honestly, it's pretty ironic. Like, there's like a beach sign and everything else. Um,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
with your
All of it's there. And
photography, because you kind of
yeah.
mentioned on that for the people that are listening. That's I guess I'll say primary, I guess, focus overall, because I don't know honestly if you dabble in other things. Before getting involved in like the NFT photography, how long have you been doing photography for? Is that something that's always you've been doing just as a passion, or more kind of like, you don't have to, like, I guess, too personal, but job wise, like Web 2
Yeah.
ways? How long have you been doing photography for?
Yeah, man. Great questions. I've been in the creative space for like 20 years. Photoshop, design, filmmaking. I've done a feature documentary. I'm a creative director in real life for a Web2 company. Um, and I've done everything from design to UI to branding, ad agencies, SaaS and software design, and filmmaking, photography, all that. So I've been doing that for pretty much 2 decades now. Even just I didn't really game much in high school. I was just really into all that type of stuff. So just living in that creative world for a long time, and but this is like the first time where I've really just focused in on photography in NFTs. So yeah, that's
With the, I guess, creative aspect of it, because you've done, for what you said, a lot of different things, and of course with the, sorry, I see someone walking to our front door with a little window in front of me. All right. With the creativeness on there, I guess, did you have like an exact memory? Doesn't matter if it's from working on Photoshop or videos or audio, stuff like that. Do you have an exact memory when you're like, damn, like this is fun overall? Or honestly, kind of everything's still, I guess, not mush, but meshed together? Or did you have one of those aha moments that you remember?
yeah, man. I mean, I took video production in high school, had a blast with that, just with the camera, with editing. Then got into college, and honestly, I didn't even consider design or creative stuff, as I didn't even really know it existed as a real life job, right? I was focused on other areas, and I got to college and I'm like, wait, people do this and get paid? Like this is great, man. So that kind of became my focus in college, and studied all that. And I've been very fortunate to have, for the most part, jobs that I've enjoyed what I do and get to be creative, and um, feel very blessed there. And uh, yeah, so, and then when I saw NFTs, I thought, I've spent so much time creating for other brands or creating for other clients. What would it look like if I just did it for fun and did it for myself? And so that's kind of the genesis of lights, if you will. So
How it started? How was that? I guess internal feeling, was it like I guess maybe not a conflict, but how was that decision making? Was it easy to decide, hey, I'm gonna, I've done X amount of years on making, designs and creativeness for other companies. I want to do it on my own. Was that a hard jump in the essence of just doing it yourself because you've been doing it for other people for that long? Or
yeah,
for the artist that is listening, what was that, pardon my French, that fuck it moment where, what, I'm going to do it? What was that moment? Was that reasoning?
yeah. So like I said, I had been kind of dabbling in crypto, buying a little bit here and there. And I remember um, the price kind of dropping late in the summer even more. So for those listening, today's kind of a bad day in crypto land, but The price was much lower last summer. Um, but I remember it dropping down to about 25. So I bought some more. And this was like late July. And then within a couple of weeks, it doubled. And I was like, what just happened? Um, and Solana Monkey business had just minted. And then, not long after that, the price tripled. So it was up to like 75, like in a week or two. And I was like, what's going on? This has to be like, what's driving this? Yeah. And that was the Gen Ape Academy. And it kind of clicked for me then. I really wasn't in Twitter too much. I wasn't paying attention to all this great community we have now. It didn't really exist yet. But I was like, oh my gosh, NFTs are driving this. It kind of clicked, because I was very new to crypto, so I had no idea how does the price even go up or down? What affects it? How does this work?
It's
But I saw
invisible. It's not
NFTs.
real.
Yeah, magic internet money, right? And but I thought, oh my gosh, NFTs are driving this. I need to find out what's going on. And I showed up. I started seeing other artists as one of one artists, and then obviously SMB and DJ Napes, and then Thugbird shortly after that. And I just was like, okay, I got to get in on this. I don't know how to do a PFP project myself, but I can make something. And I saw guys like Pinug and Fede, Basket, and the Pink Skull Queen. All these OGs were out there on Twitter, and I thought, okay, I need to get around these people, and I just need to jump in. And at that point, I was like, okay, but what do I do? um, but I just knew I had to jump in and try
At
because
that point, sorry to cut you off because I'm trying to remember as
yeah,
well the photography part of the I guess NFT scene because it's getting a little bit more I guess known. You know what I mean? But at that time,
yeah,
it wasn't really that big, correct? I mean, it was still more of like straight up
correct.
art. I heard that because I remember
Yep.
there's a good little while, kind of from that Thug Birds to I would say maybe to like the beginning of the year. And don't quote me on this, where it was kind of mostly like is this art, and then it started
Yep.
transitioning to the either photography or other type of art forms. So,
100%.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
you almost one of the
I,
OGs, almost kind of getting into it then, huh?
yeah, I think at first I thought I was the first one. Turns out I was second. There's a female photographer named Sam. I think she goes by Sam's NFT. She was the first, and she did this collection in Dubai. Um, and it was really cool, but I didn't know about it at the time. So I jumped in thinking I've seen photography on Ethereum. I haven't seen it on Solana. Like I might be the first one. I gotta go fast. So I jumped in and I found, I was like, I don't know how to code. I don't know how to do this Metaplex stuff. What do I do? Um, I think artists and photographers jumping in now are very fortunate. It was not easy at the beginning.
What type of
And
stuff
then I saw this.
did you have to do? Could come in from the people that are, if you know, from
Yeah.
um, I guess the beginning stage and stuff like. Did you have to? Did you have to set up your own store that way? Did they have some of the things there? Like, how did you learn to do it at first?
Yeah, yeah. So this was late August, and I was actually tweeting to one of the lead designers for Solana,
Nice.
and I was like, "Hey, man, I really want to get into Solana stuff. What should I do? How do I get involved?" And he's like, "Dude, like Solana needs like people with design backgrounds to like jump into NFTs. It's gonna be big, trust me." And I was like, okay, man. How do I do that? And he was like, you could check out Metaplex. If it's a little complex, there's this thing called Olaplex, and it's like no code, and you can just set up a storefront. Okay, so I jumped into Olaplex, and they had just like opened their YouTube channel. Was like 2 days old, and they were showing you how to mint an NFT. Like, what the heck is that? And and then I was setting up my store with a bunch of people that are now considered OGs. That I was watching their stores go up, and mine was going up. And um, like I said, Pinug Fede Basket, as he goes by on Twitter, and then Pink Skull Queen. They were already minting, and a couple of others, very few others. And I just had to jump in and get going and figure it out as I went. And my first auction on Olaplex did not sell a thing. And so I realized, okay, I gotta market this.
For sure.
Nobody knows.
How long was that for the artist that is listening and was thinking maybe the same thing? Oh, fuck, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna sell out. In this particular scenario, because of course everyone's different in that essence of it.
Yeah.
What was it on, like, for a day, a week, stuff like that? I guess how was the initials? Just boom on the page.
Yeah. So back then it was just all about get a storefront up and on Olaplex and hope that people see it and throw a few tweets out about it. But I had no followers, right? So but back then it was so new. I think people were buying stuff just because it was there, and they thought, hey, I'm early, let me just grab what I can. This was August.
Yeah. And
I saw a few other guys like totally, like, they killed it. OX Banana, Jason, like, he had a huge week. And then this is late August. And then this other husband and wife duo called Polyline, they had a killer opening week, and then they were getting like secondary sales of 100 sold. Like, people don't really remember this.
That's fucking strong,
is before,
bro.
This is before John Lee, man. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, like I gotta get, I failed, because here they were having huge weeks and I sold nothing. And I thought, I almost quit right then and there. And
why didn't you?
Yes. I thought, man, people aren't really resonating with my work, so as an artist that kind of stings, right?
No, 100%.
And so here they're killing it. And to answer your question, like, back then we didn't know how long to auction things for. Some people did it over a weekend, some people did it for 5 days. And I think I did it for a few days, like 3 days. I can't remember. I was just looking at what other people were doing. And got zero. So and I thought, oh man, this isn't for me. But then I said, all right, maybe I'm doing something wrong. For one, I didn't market it well. Let me try that. And maybe the art's just not where it should be. And so I went back to the drawing board and threw everything away. I still have them, but they look totally different than the look that emerged. And I said, all right, something's off. Let's try again. And I went back to the drawing board and just came out with something totally new. And I'm so glad I did, because it hit. I think I released 6 pieces that following week and sold out. So, nice. and had an all-time high of like 30 sold. For me, that was like, I mean, that was crazy, man.
Hell
yeah. Yeah.
Looking back, hindsight, as just like the human feeling, emotion feeling. Like you said, from going for the first week, 3 days, on having the store up front and having nothing, because it doesn't matter if it's Web3 or sales over the phone. You hear, no, it's disheartening. It's like, well, shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, one, I mean, props to you for, manning up, and just saying, screw it, I'm doing it again. You know what I mean? And honestly, props to you in the sense of saying, hey, maybe something isn't right, and looking at it that way. Because I mean, some people might, again, just give up or just say, oh, the work's great. This is this way. It's just Gaddis is dumb, he doesn't know what he's buying and stuff like that. So props to you on not giving up. But How are those two feelings looking back at it now from getting that zero, and like damn the 3 days to, like you said, having the whole thing is selling out, you know, are those, they got to be on, of course, two different spectrums, but are they not the highest, lowest of lows, but as an artist, what type of feeling is that? Like, are those?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny, like that week, that 7 day turn, you could call it, is kind of pretty much prepared me for crypto, for being an NFT artist. Where one day it's like the whole thing's burning to the ground, and then a few days later we're going to the moon, and it has been 8 9 months of that over and over again. So yeah, it kind of prepared me for it, and but no, it is, man. It's an emotional thing. Artists are emotional, and so yeah, to go from nobody caring then to, hey, that was a big week, man. So it was very emotional, and it's taught me to be grateful. Um, in highs and lows, I'm just grateful I get to do this. As people say, we're early. I hope we're early. I think we are early. um, and it makes me have a lot of gratitude. Even when things are down, I'm grateful that people have believed in me and in my art, and I'm going to keep working to provide value for them, for putting a bet on me, and hopefully my work in the long run does very well for them. So that's my goal, and yeah, man, the highs and the lows, you just got to keep going, and so
Not give up, man.
yeah,
Speaking like
yeah,
I've never done anything, but that's what they say in life, right? Hey, if you stop, then you're gonna fail.
yeah,
You just stopped. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
with the art, before we get a little bit more in depth into the photography stuff like that, because I've dabbled around with Premiere, Photoshop, stuff like that. On
yeah.
your creative process, do you think, with some of the photography now, um, looking back on like either Photoshop or like the video editing, are those type of creative processes similar to the same? Like when you're, I guess, trying to make a video, did you see the video like the pieces that way and connect it there like you do when you're, do you see the vision of the picture you want to take a picture of? Or I guess your creative process, do they differ from each thing, or are they kind of intertwined to an extent?
Oh, that's a deep question, man. I always approach it like, um, with a lot of experimentation. Yeah, and I was like, what would it be like if we try this? What about that? I don't get too married to the ideas beforehand. It's more like, let me find it as we go, and um, and that's true of anything. Like I did a 90-minute documentary, and it was all about that. It was about finding the story as we went. It took us years to shoot. And it's the same approach in anything. Is I like to look at options. I like to try things, experiment, and then see what resonates emotionally. Like, in that moment's like, oh, there it is.
Yup.
There's nothing like it from a creator's perspective. And when you feel something makes you feel alive, you get excited, like, oh my gosh, that shot or those colors. Um, if it's resonating emotionally for me, man, I'm good. Like, I make it for yourself, as they say. Don't make it for the crowds, because you can't please everybody.
No, for
But
sure.
if it's really connecting with you, uh, hopefully you'll find an audience that connects with them too. So,
No,
um,
100%.
yeah,
With with the I mean, I'm looking at the picture now, the same Solana Beach one. Um, I guess with the, I mean, I know it's not textures, you know. Of course, I'm using the wrong words, but it looks like the little like the pipes, the you know what I mean, not buildings, but
Yeah.
the graphs. You know, is that some of the stuff you've always, I guess, messed with that way, or is that something you were kind of journeying in there as well? Because honestly, I'm sure this picture would look fresh to death just by itself, you know, clear on that one, but at the same time, it gives it gives more, I guess,
Yeah.
story to an extent. Like someone could view it that way. Are a lot of your pieces like this for people that don't know your work, or is there a story behind this particular photo?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you look at pretty much all my collections except for one, um, we could talk about that one because it's Thugbirds related. Um, I knew like last summer I was walking through some art galleries, some photography galleries here in California, and I saw like some beautiful photos of the beach and in this one gallery in particular, and like I couldn't believe the price tag. I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy is making how much? I
$4.25 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn,
And
son.
I mean, he's got, this particular gallery is in La Jolla, California, right off the ocean. And I know he's not, I know he's paying crazy rent for this spot. And I'm thinking, this guy must be killing it. And these are pictures of the beach. I take these pictures every weekend. Like, what?
My little kitty's took
And
this on the iPhone. I swear it looks the same.
exactly. And I mean, I had a ton of respect for the work he
For
was
sure,
doing,
for
and
sure.
I respect that hustle, man, to be able to afford that spot. Um, but something clicked for me. It's like people invest in this because they've got an emotional connection to the beach. It reminds them of a great memory, a vacation, something. And so I was like, man, I'm already doing this, but I don't want to do this on the blockchain. For me, it's got to feel like the blockchain. When you see, there's a lot of photographers out there, and I didn't want to play the game of trying to compete with them. There's many of them that are better than me. I wanted to do something different, and I wanted it to feel like, in this case in particular, Solana Beach, I wanted to feel like I was there when um, that genesis moment, that big bang of the metaverse exploded from the natural scene of Solana Beach, and I happened to snap the camera shot just in time as this Solana blockchain was emerging from the real place, and it's exploding, and these blocks are coming at you, and like what would happen if I was there for that big bang moment, and that's what I wanted the art to feel like. And so um that's how that style came about.
Nice.
So yeah.
with with some of I guess the gear you working with Canons, Nikons, Lumix, big ass red cameras for some reason, even though you're not doing video. What are your go to that and lenses for people that, because I mean I know lenses are expensive as shit, but what like for a photographer that is listening, and what is your favorite lens, your go to lens, and what is your go to gear?
Yeah,
Right now, at least,
honestly,
because I'm sure it changes or has changed.
yeah, I'm really into the Sony A7 threes, and then I like those G Master lenses that I really like those. But honestly, I've also done a lot of stuff on the iPhone 13, man.
Those are strong as hell too, though.
Yeah, it's a great camera. You don't always have your camera with you, and there's some kind of magical sunset happening. It's like, oh, I gotta capture that. And luckily, we have the technology now that anybody can there's no more barriers, right? I mean, yeah, you got to get a nice phone, but the barriers are much lower than they used to be with Web3 and with all this stuff we have available to us. I mean, the investment is a lot lower than it used to be, right? Like to get a nice camera 10 years ago, forget it, man. Like, so, yeah, there's no more barriers. You gotta just work with what you have and use it to your advantage. Yeah, turn that weakness into a superpower, if you will. So,
And then question just for, I guess, you in the creative sense, because like you said, not to knock off anything like that, because I've seen, I'm sure I'm gonna say his name wrong, Peter, I think, like it's not Walker, but what are ones like that when it's like he's hella good, know what he's doing, you know what I mean? And then it would be an amateur where, you know, he's working with an iPhone and someone else working with a red camera. Of course, no matter what, you know, you got to work with what you can. But as I'll say, someone in your profession, because again, other than what you've told me in the beginning of it, we haven't really talked anything like that. But you're saying you've done documentaries, you know what I mean, a whole bunch of different things. I guess can you make everything look just as good with the good old iPhone 13, with the you know, the Sony camera that way, or do you need the big expensive gear to make things quality?
oh no,
For
man, that's
photography on this one.
yeah. I think that's a fair question. I think what we've seen in the last few years, we've seen people make feature films on the iPhone. We've seen people do really great work with the bare minimum, and they may not have had the budget of a Marvel movie or the $1 million cameras that they might have, and they make up for it with creativity. They make up for it with story. They find a way to emotionally connect with people, and sometimes it's more honest and true than having all the big gear. So if you can, wherever you are, whatever stage you're at, do the best with what you got and find a way to make it resonate and connect with people. And if that's an iPhone, that's an iPhone. And if you got a good eye, you could take a great photo. I've seen people with amazing lenses and amazing gear, and you're like, that's it.
Did you sneeze? Hold on, what's going on here?
Exactly, right?
Hold on. No, I mean, 100%,
Yes.
and that's what I want to ask, because I
Yeah.
mean, again, I'm sure, I'm sure there's some people out there that are questioning themselves, and well, hey, I think I know I got a creative eye, but from all the YouTube videos or this or that, I gotta have this Nikon or the Canon D1X or whatever the hell. I always fuck them up because I ain't got that money to spend them. My sister does. I'm like, the fuck, but she's been doing that shit for a long time. But like that's the difference where, like, again, as long as you have a creative, I guess, eye, and as long as it looks good, you know what I mean. Of course, you can do things on that. Question, yeah. You kind of mentioned it a little bit before I asked you another question. When you first were making your art, the, I guess, marketing but behind it, how did you, I guess, kind of market it that way? Was it just going into Twitter Spaces or Twitter post? How in your scenario did you, I guess, market yourself?
Yeah, man. Sorry for the noise.
Are you good?
Yeah.
The Ferrari.
Yeah, win Lambo.
Yeah.
No, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing you do, and it comes back to the gear question, is like be true to you. With whatever you got, use that gear. And it's the same with your marketing yourself. It's just be authentically you. Don't try to be something else. Don't try to create a persona that's not you. People can sense authenticity. And so even if you're introverted like I am, you got to show up in the spaces. You got to show up, to the different things and not be afraid to speak up. And then not be, engage with people on a real level. Like every day I try to say good morning and try to lift people up and give people some hope for the day, and hopefully share some art. But I think that's the biggest thing is marketing is, if you're authentic about it, that's where it connects, you know?
No, 100%. I've always said, in general, real recognize real. It doesn't matter if you're doing art, playing sports, or just a person to person talking. You know what I mean? If unless you're a great ass actor somehow, like people are gonna see the authenticity. So I agree with you on that. The Are you working on anything in particular? I guess right now. What type of things are you doing as of right this second, or is it just I guess previous photos that are up on different exchanges? What have or what are you working on as of now?
Yeah, man. I got that Lights of Solana Beach collection. I think there's two or three left. And I've been having fun with this collection that I've, released a few weeks back, and I've been doing one at a time. It's called Light the Night. That one I've been doing like night shots of different cities. And yeah, there it is. Those have been cool. That's the first time I have ventured beyond the beach coastal vibes, and these are night shots of LA, couple from Chicago, couple from Las Vegas. So those have been fun, and I might go to more cities and do a few more of those.
With some of these, how, and I guess don't gotta let your secret know, but how are these done? Is it just done with like the low exposure and things going that way, which it doesn't really look like that, or are you having the camera there, low exposure, bringing it back like that? I'm trying to picture myself on how it's done because I kind of fuck with it. Like actually, you know what I mean? Like it's you can tell they're buildings, but then it's I guess
Yeah.
how and why this way?
Yeah. So it's still my, the blocks that I do.
Okay.
Still using that block texture, and that's why it looks like crazy. So there's the block texture coming off of the shot there. It is slow shutter. So it's kind of a time lapsey feel. And that particular shot is actually two different shots stitched together because it's that downtown LA traffic mixed with some of the LA buildings. So,
Okay.
yeah, that you can see off in the distance that Jesus Saves sign there. Um, so yeah, it's just
Okay.
kind of experimenting, man. So you asked what I'm doing now. It's just I'm just keep trying to push myself and push the art style, and um, hopefully it feels like photography, but also like art and blockchain all at once. So yeah.
With with the work that you are doing now, I mean, with these, to an extent, because again, I don't know exactly. I'm sure you're pretty, pretty damn well on Photoshop and things like that. How long does I guess how long does this kind of whole piece take? Not just one in particular, I guess NFT, but the whole the project. I'm missing the word. I don't know why I can't think of the word, but the whole group. Like, how long does this whole thing take?
Oh yeah. Do you mean like per shot or just the collection in general?
Collection, yeah, that word. I
Yeah.
forgot what the word collection was for jeez. Yeah, how long does a collection like that take overall? In general, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. So it depends. Like each shot, sometimes there's like dozens of layers. Sometimes there's more than that to get the right colors and textures and feel. And so sometimes each piece takes, hours. And sometimes I come back to it a few days later because it's not quite right yet. And then sometimes it's faster because you're like, whoa, what just happened? Like there it was. Um, and it's all about just finding that when it clicks for you, when it resonates, it's like, okay, I think I'm done. And I always come back to it a few days later and just make sure, like, is that it still? Nope. Let's start again. Um, and these have been really different for me because all my other pieces are, beach sunsets or, shooting by the water, more natural environments along the California coast. And then these were like, let me crank up the saturations and the colors and see what happens and see if people vibe with it. And so far, this one's been fun. So I've had it of all my collections. I've had, some very fortunate to have some pretty awesome collectors buy these. So I'm glad it's resonating with people.
Nice. With random question, say there's a, let's just say millionaire for this exact,
Yeah.
situation. A millionaire, maybe billionaire, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoever's, liking your stuff. Say they buy it. I know it's NFTs and everything. I guess how big is it on pixels? Like, say someone wants it in their mansion on there, can they blow it up that way? Or is it the big pixel sizes there? Has anyone
Yeah.
done it?
Yes.
Can they do that?
Yes, they can, and yes, they have. Those are those particular ones there, 4,000 by 3,000 at 300 DPI. So they're printable. And I've had a few collectors. Of one in particular, he's bought a few pieces from Lights of Solana Beach collection. Um, he's gone back and printed like, I want to say 4 or 5 feet square. If you
Strong.
Yeah, and he's got them hanging in his office, like I think like a 5 foot square. So I've kind of adapted the file for him so he could get it printed. It's that one on the bottom right there, um, in the oranges and pinks. Yeah, that one.
Nice.
That one's been printed up, pretty big. So, um, yeah, man. When collectors reach out there and they want to print it and put it on the wall, like that's just next level. you know, I'm always grateful for that. So
Question
yeah,
on that one. So I guess you said you had metadata because that's some of the stuff I get. Some of it I don't overall. But metadata in the original one, he gets it on Solana Beach #1. He wants to put it for a 5 foot by 5 foot picture that way. Is it you thankfully had I guess the picture still on like the hard drive or something like that on there where you did it
yeah.
that way? Or okay, I would say if that's deleted, it's on the second hard drive and it's gone. Is there a way to blow it up that way, or is it just thankfully you had that file and you can do it like that?
Yeah, so I do 'em pretty big. Like the NFTs themselves, the real file is pretty large in itself, but I keep all the source files. I have all the layers, colors, everything. So if somebody comes back to me and they're like, "Hey, man, can we do this in a bigger way?" I have the files that I can send them a Dropbox link so they can get it printed or whatever.
Is that something you thought about before doing the NFT stuff? Is that something you did because of previous knowledge on what can happen, and or was that a tip from someone in the space?
Yeah, no, I think because I've worked in ad agencies, creative agencies for so long, like I always keep the source files. I can always go back to, I have an external hard drive, keep it all on there. Because you never know. Somebody's going to want it. I might want it 5 years from now for something. So, yeah, just good file management and making sure you have access to everything. Because I actually come from a print background as well, so I figured I might as well make these big enough to print, and if somebody wants to print them big, I got it. So, yeah.
Um, with I haven't looked at the time. I'm sure I already got you past the 30-minute, 45-minute mark. So, I guess I can try and see in a quick second. Me and my blind ass. I think it says 46 minutes. So, one, thank you for staying on and not just deucing. So, last couple questions on that one. I would say with the, I guess, knowledge now in the NFT space. I know, looking in hindsight, what would you, I guess, tell yourself, or maybe done different, if anything, back in August when you first started, to get you to this point, or a point where you think you could have been different? Do you have any tips you would tell yourself looking back?
Yeah, are you talking like art wise, creative wise? Or are you talking more just like crypto, financial, all that stuff side?
On more the art and the
Okay.
NFT side, not exactly like
Yeah. Yeah.
crypto should have sold, should I wish I would have known these, more on the artistic NFT side.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I would say you got to find a group of, if you're an artist, find a group of artists you respect and link up with them. I'm very fortunate to be part of Seven Swords Clan, and I think we've all made each other better. And I wish I would have found that sooner. But I think that's so important because we can all have down days in this space, and so to have that support, like, hey man, this is gonna, it's a phase. We're gonna be fine, and hey man, if you did this, your work would be, try this for a collection idea, or hey, what if you change the color palette? And to be able to do that for each other in Seven Swords Clan has been, I think it's made me a lot better. And relationships are the real alpha, as some people say, and I would say that is absolutely true. Um, and never be afraid to like experiment and keep pushing yourself. Don't get stuck. I mean, Web3 is the Wild West. I mean, I believe we are early and we are pioneers, and so keep trying things. You never know what's gonna click. So that would be the two things I would say, um, to myself from day one. You know.
Nice. No, 100%. With I guess the Seven Sword Clan, correct? I might be
Yeah.
saying that. I guess one, for people that are listening, what is that? Why? I guess, why did you want to join it? I guess, how did you
Yeah.
find out what they were? A little
Yeah.
breakdown
So
on them.
Seven Swords Clan. There's 12 one of one artists, and an artist named Highway, and then I've mentioned, and he's been a guest on your show before, Fede from Basket. Um, they reached out and they said, "Hey," and this is before one of one started taking off. This is like November, before John Lee was getting massive sales, and others. Um, but Highway had just finished watching the Wu Tang documentary, and it's something just kind of clicked, like the power of the collective, of coming together and combining forces. You can make a bigger impact together than you can alone. And so this idea of 12 artists coming together, and doing one NFT drop, and the winner takes all 12 pieces, um, and each one is with a Wu-Tang song theme, and we all put our own spin on the theme. The first one was Dreams, based on the song Cream, and then Liquid Swords and Triumph, and some of these other ones that we've done, Shadowbox, and all Wu-Tang themed songs and color palettes, and we all just kind of put our own spin on it, and that just sounded fun, like a group of us doing something together, and releasing, the winner takes all in the auction. And ironically, Thugbirds was the first winner of that first collection we dropped. And so it's been fun to just see the ride from there, and to see the support, from the Thugbirds. And then in response to that, I created a photo collection called Flights, and that's all about bird follow bird, and So Fly, some of these other pieces that were all Thugbird inspired. And built into the metadata are the Thugbird colors and also, favorite rappers. So it was kind of my personal tribute to the Thugs. So yeah, that series is called Flights. Yeah. So
I heard what cream stands for?
Cash rules everything around me, right? Yeah.
Crypto, man.
Oh,
Crypto. Let's
crypto.
go. No. With the no, but that's actually funny. My buddy had literally that shirt on there. And he dabbles with crypto a little bit. Ironically, kind of like with your story, he bought Doge at like 0.000 on something, and of course I was talking about everything else. I'm like, bro, why the hell you get that? And of course, granted, he's technically still up on everything, but he was wearing this shirt because he came over. We were chilling one time. He's like, bro, dog, you need to take a picture, put your Thugbird on my head, and bro, crypto rules everything around me. I'm like, dog, that's good, man. That's fucking strong. It was hilarious.
Love it.
Last couple questions for real on this one. With the I guess the art, the style, the kind of pixels, and then I guess is that kind of where we're, because even this one's kind of the pixelated, the Ellens were as well.
Yeah.
When did I guess you start doing that? Is that kind of how, like you were saying with the pixels on going from like the Web 2 to the Web 3 Solana Beach form? Is this something you've always done because you've liked? When did you, I guess, see this type of art form and it hit register like this is me, this is what I'm doing? When did you find that?
So from the very beginning, I just knew I wanted my stuff to feel like the blockchain. And how could I pull that off? I've experimented with that for a long time until I found this kind of signature feel. So there's the blocks exploding from the shot, from where metaverse meets the natural kind of idea, digital and natural combined. So yeah, that was early on. That was almost day one.
Nice.
Well, day one from when I had a sale. So before that, it was different. But when this clicked, it was like, okay, this is it. So,
what was it? What was it before? What was it? Just like regular pictures beforehand? I guess I probably should have looked and done that exact research. So my bad on that one. What was it? Just like straight up pictures there, or were you like dabbling with pictures? Like what was it before it is now?
I was trying to do this. I was trying. It was like, it wasn't fully fleshed out. It was a variation of this, and it just wasn't right yet. And it wasn't it, yeah. And so no, nobody has seen those. So you don't feel bad for not asking about them. And it wasn't until I came back and started saying, okay, it's not it. How do I find it? And once I did, it was like, okay, here we go. And that's when it started to take off. So hopefully I'm the only one doing that style, and hopefully long term that becomes a signature look, and people start to recognize that's a lights piece. And that blockchain photography is the idea. So
hell yeah. With I guess with the kind of the episode as of so far, we went through a lot of stuff. I'll actually go ahead and wrap it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are there anything that I guess we haven't really touched on or spoke on that you do want to let people that either have your art know about, or you kind of touch on what you are working on? But anything we've touched on or have not touched on that you want to bring up? Any closing comments or anything?
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, thanks for having me. Thanks for being patient with me. It's taken us a while to connect, man. So, so thank you, and thanks for your genuine interest in the work and all you do for the Thugs too. You deserve a lot of credit there. And yeah, man. And lastly, I would just say, I would say the foundation for my work beyond the blockchain idea, in summary, is this idea that you know, no matter, and today's a good day to bring this up. It's like, no matter how dark things get, I hope my work is a reminder that light is always on the way. So, hey, keep your head up, keep looking up. Light's always on the way. And yeah, that's true in real life. So
positive vibes all day, all day. Where can people find you? What's your I guess Twitter? Do you have an Instagram? Shout out where everyone can find you at.
Yeah, man. So my Twitter is lights_NFT. My Instagram is the same, lights_NFT. And there on my Twitter, you can find my link tree with links to all my collections. And, behind the stories, behind the work, all that stuff is there. So, yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, Amen. On that, I'm going to go ahead and end it kind of like I did in the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and mute it. But again, man, I appreciate you coming in and taking some time out of your kind of, I guess, afternoonish evening and showing some love. So, again, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know what time it is. Big baby. Episode 99, episode 90 in the mix one more time. If you're not already, go ahead and follow Lights. Go ahead and follow Thug Birds, Thug Dow, as well as Thug Pod. Till next time, y'all, stay fresh, stay clean, stay pimping, and stay positive. You know what time it is, y'all.